Let's break an illusion. You think you're tired because you didn't sleep enough. You think you're tired because you're getting older. You think you're tired because you're busy. But what if you're tired for a completely different reason? What if your exhaustion isn't about laziness, and it's not about age? What if it's biology? Hi, I'm Dr. Emily Carter, and today we're talking about something millions of people feel every single day. Persistent fatigue. Not the kind after a bad night, not the kind after a long workout. The kind where you wake up tired, you need coffee to function. You crash in the afternoon, you feel foggy, and you think this is normal. It's not. Let's go deeper. Your body has 4 major systems that determine your energy: your sleep system, your blood sugar system, your stress system, and your mitochondrial system. Most people only blame sleep, but fatigue is usually a combination. Let's start with blood sugar. When you eat refined carbohydrates, bread, pastries, cereal, sugary coffee drinks, your blood sugar rises quickly. Your pancreas releases insulin. Insulin pushes glucose into your cells. Then your blood sugar drops. Sometimes it drops fast. When it drops fast, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline to bring it back up. That hormonal spike makes you feel alert for a moment. Then you crash again. This roller coaster can happen multiple times per day, and it feels like exhaustion. Not because you lack sleep, because your energy supply is unstable. Now imagine this happening every day for years. Your cells become less sensitive to insulin. That's called insulin resistance. Insulin resistance forces your body to work harder to manage glucose. Harder work means more stress hormones. More stress hormones mean more fatigue. You don't feel sick, you feel drained. Now let's talk about stress. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone. In the morning, cortisol should rise naturally. That helps you wake up. At night, cortisol should drop. But chronic stress disrupts that rhythm. If cortisol stays elevated too long, your nervous system remains slightly activated. That state feels like wired, but tired. You're exhausted, but your brain won't fully shut down. You scroll, you snack, you need stimulation, then sleep becomes lighter, even if you're in bed for 8 hours. Poor sleep quality reduces growth hormone release. Growth hormone helps repair tissues and regulate metabolism. When repair declines, fatigue increases. Now let's go even deeper. Inside every cell in your body are mitochondria. Think of them as microscopic power plants. They convert nutrients into usable energy. If mitochondria are stressed by poor sleep, chronic inflammation, unstable blood sugar, or nutrient deficiencies, energy production declines. This doesn't show up on basic blood tests, but you feel it. You feel slower, heavier, mentally foggy. Inflammation plays a role here too. Low-grade chronic inflammation increases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress damages mitochondria. Damaged mitochondria produce less energy. Less energy feels like fatigue. Now here's the uncomfortable part. Most people try to fix fatigue with caffeine. Coffee stimulates adrenaline. It blocks adenosine, the chemical that makes you feel sleepy, so you feel alert. But caffeine doesn't create energy. It masks fatigue. If the root cause is unstable blood sugar, poor sleep architecture, micronutrient deficiency, or chronic stress, caffeine is a temporary cover. Then comes the afternoon crash. You think you need more coffee. The cycle continues. Let's talk about micronutrients. Iron deficiency, even mild, can cause fatigue. B12 deficiency affects nerve function and energy metabolism. Magnesium is involved in hundreds of enzymatic reactions, including ATP production. ATP is your body's energy currency. Vitamin D influences immune balance and mood. If your diet lacks diversity or digestion is impaired, these deficiencies can quietly develop. You won't collapse. You'll just feel constantly low. Now let's connect hormones. In men, low testosterone can present as fatigue, low motivation, and reduced muscle mass. In women, thyroid imbalance, even mild, can create persistent tiredness. The thyroid regulates metabolic rate. If it slows down, everything slows down. Heart rate, digestion, energy production. But here's the truth most people don't hear. Chronic stress can suppress thyroid function. Insulin resistance can alter hormone signaling. Poor sleep disrupts testosterone production. Everything is connected. Fatigue is rarely one thing. It's a network problem. Now ask yourself, do you wake up tired even after 7-8 hours? Do you need caffeine to function? Do you crash at 3 p.m.? Do you feel mentally foggy? If yes, your system is out of rhythm, not broken, not out of rhythm, and rhythm can be restored. Stabilize blood sugar, eat protein in the morning, reduce refined carbohydrates, walk after meals, improve sleep quality, not just sleep duration, reduce late-night screen exposure, expose your eyes to natural light in the morning, manage stress through movement, not just mental effort. Strength train, because muscle improves insulin sensitivity. Better insulin sensitivity improves energy stability. Increase micronutrient density. Whole foods, leafy greens, fatty fish, legumes, quality protein. Hydration matters too. Mild dehydration increases perceived fatigue. Even a 1 to 2% drop in hydration can reduce cognitive performance. Now here's the most important shift. Stop asking, why am I so tired? Start asking, which system is unstable? Energy is not just sleep. It's metabolism, it's hormones, it's stress regulation, it's cellular efficiency. Most people are not lazy, they are metabolically overwhelmed. And once you understand the system, you regain control. Fatigue is a signal, not a personality flaw. Let's break illusions. There's another layer people rarely talk about when it comes to fatigue. It's not just about being tired. It's about how your brain interprets energy. Your brain constantly monitors your internal state, blood glucose levels, oxygen delivery, hormone balance, inflammatory signals. It integrates all of that information and produces a sensation, energy or fatigue. Fatigue is not weakness. It's a protective signal. When your brain senses instability, whether from stress, inflammation, or metabolic imbalance, it lowers motivation, it reduces drive, it conserves resources. That feeling of, I don't feel like doing anything, is often your brain protecting you. Now let's talk about chronic stress in more detail. Your stress system is controlled by something called the HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal glands. When you perceive stress, whether physical or emotional, this axis activates. Cortisol rises, adrenaline rises. In short bursts, this is useful. But modern stress is not short bursts. It's constant notifications, financial pressure, sleep restriction, mental overload, emotional strain. When cortisol remains elevated too frequently, your system adapts. At first, you feel wired. Later, you feel drained. This isn't adrenal fatigue. That term is oversimplified and often misused. What actually happens is dysregulation. Your cortisol rhythm becomes flattened. Instead of rising sharply in the morning and declining gradually, it becomes irregular. When the morning cortisol surge is weak, you wake up exhausted. When evening cortisol remains high, you struggle to sleep deeply. That creates a loop. Poor sleep increases cortisol, high cortisol impairs sleep, and fatigue deepens. Now let's talk about dopamine. Dopamine is not just a pleasure chemical, it's a motivation signal. It drives effort, it pushes you to act. Chronic overstimulation, social media, constant scrolling, fast entertainment, sugar, caffeine, spikes dopamine repeatedly. Over time, your brain reduces sensitivity. Baseline dopamine tone drops. When baseline dopamine drops, everyday tasks feel harder. You don't feel depressed necessarily. You feel unmotivated, flat, heavy, and you interpret that as fatigue, but it's partly a motivation chemistry shift. Now combine that with poor sleep and unstable blood sugar. The brain sees energy instability. It lowers drive. You reach for caffeine. Caffeine increases dopamine temporarily. It increases adrenaline. It masks the signal. But masking doesn't restore mitochondrial output. Let's talk about mitochondria again. Mitochondria convert nutrients into ATP, the energy currency of your cells. ATP production depends on oxygen delivery, micronutrients like magnesium and B vitamins, thyroid hormone signaling, and low oxidative stress. If inflammation is elevated, mitochondria become less efficient. If nutrient intake is poor, ATP production declines. If thyroid function is slightly reduced, mitochondrial signaling slows. You won't collapse. You'll just operate at 60%. Most people today are functioning at partial capacity and calling it normal. Now let's bring in insulin resistance again. When insulin resistance develops, your cells struggle to efficiently absorb glucose. That means your body must produce more insulin to get the same result. High insulin levels suppress fat burning. If your body cannot access fat efficiently and glucose entry is impaired, energy delivery to cells becomes unstable. That instability feels like fatigue. Even if calorie intake is high, you can overeat and still feel tired because energy delivery, not calorie amount, determines cellular function. Now let's talk about muscle. Muscle tissue is not just for aesthetics. It's a metabolic organ. Muscle improves insulin sensitivity. It stores glycogen, stored glucose, and releases it when needed. Low muscle mass increases metabolic stress. Sedentary lifestyle reduces mitochondrial density in muscle cells. Fewer mitochondria means lower energy production. Strength training increases mitochondrial density. It improves insulin sensitivity. It improves metabolic flexibility, the ability to switch between burning carbohydrates and fats efficiently. Metabolic flexibility equals stable energy. Now let's talk about light. Yes, light. Your circadian rhythm, your internal biological clock, is set by light exposure. If you wake up and immediately look at your phone instead of natural light, your brain receives weaker circadian signals. Morning light exposure helps regulate cortisol rhythm. It anchors your wake cycle. Without strong light cues, your rhythm drifts. Drifting rhythm equals poor sleep quality. Poor sleep quality equals fatigue. Now let's connect gut health. Your gut microbiome influences inflammation, nutrient absorption, and even neurotransmitter production. Chronic stress alters gut bacteria. Poor diet alters gut bacteria. Alcohol alters gut permeability. When gut integrity weakens, inflammatory molecules can enter circulation more easily. That inflammation feeds back into brain signaling. The brain responds by reducing drive and increasing fatigue signals. Again, not weakness. Protection. Let's talk about thyroid more clearly. Your thyroid hormone controls metabolic rate. Even mild dysfunction, not enough to trigger dramatic lab abnormalities, can create fatigue, cold sensitivity, slower heart rate, and reduced energy. Chronic calorie restriction, severe stress, and micronutrient deficiencies can suppress thyroid conversion. If you are dieting aggressively while sleeping poorly and stressed, your body downregulates metabolism. You feel tired, not because you're lazy, because your body is conserving energy. Now here's something most people never consider. Inflammation and stress also affect iron metabolism. You may have normal iron intake but impaired utilization. Low iron reduces oxygen delivery to tissues. Low oxygen delivery reduces mitochondrial ATP production. That feels like brain fog and physical exhaustion. Now step back. Fatigue is rarely a single cause. It's a systems overload, sleep fragmentation, blood sugar instability, chronic cortisol elevation, dopamine overstimulation, low muscle mass, mitochondrial stress, micronutrient insufficiency, circadian disruption, mild inflammation, individually small, collectively powerful. And when all of them overlap, you wake up tired, you drink coffee, you push through, you crash, you blame yourself. But it's not a character flaw. It's biology under pressure. The solution is not one supplement, not one hack, not one magic diet. It's restoring rhythm, stable meals, adequate protein, morning light, strength training, sleep consistency, stress reduction through movement, not just thought, reducing dopamine overload, supporting micronutrients, hydration, and time, because biology doesn't reset overnight, but it does respond. If you've been tired for years, your system has been adapting for years. Recovery is gradual, but here's the good news. Energy returns when systems stabilize. The human body is resilient, but it needs consistent signals, not chaos. So the next time you say, "I'm just always tired," pause. Ask yourself, is my sleep architecture stable? Is my blood sugar stable? Is my stress rhythm stable? Is my movement adequate? Is my light exposure natural? Is my nervous system overstimulated? Fatigue is information, not weakness. And once you read the information correctly, you can change the trajectory. Let's break the illusion that being tired is normal. It's common, but common is not optimal. This is real medicine.